Thanks for tuning into the Carrie Handle Podcast. Here's your host, Bryce and Kevin.
Welcome back to the Carrie Handle Podcast. My name is Bryce, and with me, as always, is Kevin. How are you, Kevin?
I'm well, Bryce. I'm well. Thank you for asking.
Would you like to introduce our guest?
Yes, we have the S5 Tactical Guru himself, Bo.
Yes, Bo from S5 Tactical. Bo, how are you?
I'm doing good, fellas. How you doing?
We're doing well. So this
We're
is
awesome.
technically our first meeting, but this is our first recording, and we're very happy to have you on the show. Bo, can you just go ahead, 10-second elevator pitch introduction?
All right. Well, I'm an injection molder by trade, meaning I make stuff out of plastic. So, I got into different things and started making firearms, and now I'm making G36s and UMPs and having a great time.
Awesome.
So how did you get into G36s and UMPs? I mean, you just stumbled into that, or was it?
You know what? Honestly, basically, I was stumbled into me. Um, they were well, I don't go back too far or start in the middle, but everyone knows he's originally built by Tommy Built.
Mhm.
He had a molder in Arkansas who was molding these for him, and they had their struggles. It was a small shop, so they wanted to bring something. They wanted to find a molder in Arizona. They wanted to bring everything a little closer to home, so they found me.
Okay.
I got an FFL and started molding these for everybody. Tommy actually in that time had backed out, and Def Guns took over the tooling. So I started molding for them and making some parts. And as they backed out, they came to me and said, "Hey, you're making these already. Do you want to continue making them and just sell them direct?" So sure. And
And so
that's how I got in the gun business in a nutshell.
and then
Nice.
that was around February.
S5 Tactical started February 8th.
All right.
Wow.
Well, I mean, so we're very new to this, relatively speaking, in terms of you being around and all by your lonesome. But I guess the best thing to hammer through here is that the molds and the tooling are effectively the same carryover.
Yeah,
But
they're the same carryover. I mean, we're coming up on 6 months here in a week or so, but the molds have been around for a while.
Okay.
So now, while the molds have been around for a while, I was doing a little digging, especially through HK Parts, just because I wanted to see what the general consensus is. And I like you, but I wanted to do some research.
Well,
And
I'm
the
a hell of a
general,
nice guy.
Yeah.
you are a nice guy, but people like your stuff
Trust,
too.
trust, but verify.
Trust but verify, as Kevin always says. But the one thing I was seeing is that you seem to have improved the distribution of the nylon inside the molds. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah, we've developed the process, especially after we had, a little while. You just always want to get better. I think the first set we ran for Def Guns was a very high quality part, but I think it's got a little bit more refined as we go through it. Um, as we took it on as our own, we found some things that we didn't love. Um, excess material inside. We remove that. We get that finished out. I don't think that was being done before. So it just it's all like just the little things I think we're doing better that adds up to an overall better receiver for everybody.
Well, so I don't know how many
Okay.
people have actually handled Tommy Bolt guns, and I've handled a few. And just even in the research that I've looked through in the content that I've only been doing like a couple of weeks worth of research, so not much. But in terms of what I've been able to gain so far in my personal experience, like you can actually see the improvements in the receivers. Even the Def Gun stuff look better than the Tommy Built stuff, and then the S5 stuff looks, I would say, less fuzzy would be the best way I could describe that, would be like the texture, I suppose. That was my
Yeah,
biggest note for the Tommy Built guns.
yeah. What you're describing as fuzzy is glass distribution. They're polymer receivers and nylon, but there's a glass fiber in there for strength.
Mhm.
So as the plastic flows through that mold, as you can imagine, those fibers will get held up in certain areas, or they'll elongate in certain areas. Um, get mismatched. The trick is finding temperatures of the mold to get that to get in there quick and go even and be an even distribution, excuse me, through that part. That's just kind
Interesting.
of just a trick. And really, you gotta just use heat and injection speed to control that, find out where it's building up, and try and blow it through there.
So
Okay.
my biggest question, because the G36 as the receiver is there, it's nylon. So in terms of where you're interfacing your barrel, I mean it's a polymer receiver with a steel barrel. Is there any special consideration around the chamber area in the receiver for where I guess effectively the trunnion is, or is it
Yeah, well, that trunnion's, it's encased in the nylon, and
right?
not nylon is strong, man.
Right.
It's strong. You'd
Okay.
have a hard time busting that thing with a hammer.
Okay.
I mean, you
Okay.
could do it.
I
You could
imagine.
break anything with a hammer if you really,
Yeah, if you really
put your back
wail on
into
it.
it. But it's strong, so it's in there. But what a lot of people don't consider is when you build a G36, as you may know, you use that mandrel to hold it. Well,
Mhm,
that mandrel, fits in that trunnion.
mhm.
So when you're putting
Mhm.
that barrel on, your 66 foot-pounds, that pressure is really on that mandrel, not on the plastic. So
Okay.
it doesn't have so that rotational force, it's not really on the plastic. There's some, but for the most part, it's braced by that mandrel, which is the
That
purpose.
was that
That's the
was more
purpose of
my
that
question.
mandrel.
That was more
Okay.
specifically my, because I was actually going to lead it, so you broached it
You
right into
answered
that.
the question before we asked.
Well, so my next
Sorry.
question is I was seeing kind of a disparity, especially in some of the builds from Def Guns and some of just the serialized components in terms of torque spec for the barrel nut. And there were
Mhm.
some people talking about variants in terms of like, oh, it's supposed to be 65, 45, 50. So you just confirmed that. So that's an
Yeah.
answer to my question.
That's really cool.
Yeah. HK
Um,
says 66. We're doing 66.
I like
nice.
it. I like it. Okay.
So, what about like the heat transfer? Does that affect anything? Like from multiple, like if you shoot it
You
like a
know,
bunch?
the short answer is yes, but not really. Um, if how's that for a non-answer? Um, yeah, well, the G36, they kind of got a history of losing some accuracy once they get hot. That barrel gets real hot, and that's kind of just like it's minuscule, but it's like a softening of the plastic per se. Just that
Mhm.
heat's in there. You get 200 rounds. Grab the end of that barrel with your hand. It's hot.
Right. It's pretty hot.
You don't want to do it. So that heat's transferring. So you get that in a polymer rifle, but that is minimal for most guys. There's no reason to just blast out 200 rounds, in a minute and a half
Okay.
and just
So,
do it.
so
And
That's
then,
a great point.
yeah. So then, my next question: have you had any that you put like to full auto just to quality test, just to see like where the failure point would be? Like you just hit it
not
with
not
full
to
auto
failure,
and
no.
just okay.
Yeah, I
What
mean,
kind of
it's just the guys, the German army kind of did, and say, okay, it
Right.
starts, after I think they said 150 rounds, 200 rounds, like immediate, it starts to lose some accuracy.
Okay.
Um, it didn't fail, but it started to lose some, long distance
Yeah.
accuracy.
there
So
And
I
there
that's
mean, it depends
was
what you're doing.
right.
there
It's to be
was
expected.
confirmed thermal drift, but I think the Bundeswehr was really quoting guns that had been in service for decades. So yeah, the plastic gun might have problems after sustained full auto fire from conscripts for the past 30 years. It might
Oh,
have
man, the
some accuracy
Bundeswehr would
differences.
not use propaganda to get new guns.
No, they wouldn't just make up some bullshit to buy a new gun. They'd never do that. Or wait, no, they didn't do that with the G3, the G1, the 98. Yeah, no, they do that all the time. Okay, so
Yeah, but is any of the three of us ever going to get that thing hot enough where it's
it,
a
It's a
problem, and we need to get
yeah.
accurate at 300 yards? Probably not.
think what I think specifically for the use case, and that's something that one of our staple guests, Kirk from, uh, well, I guess a different company now, but
Mm,
we had a different guy on, very awesome friend of the show, and he always bangs on about use case, use case, use case. And you can have your tactical Timmy fantasy all you want, but what serious use are you getting out of that weapon, or what are you expecting it to do? So I think
Exactly.
there's an absolute appropriate time and place. Now, with that being said, however, there are the Germans had problems or allegedly had issues for their G36s, but I would also like to clarify that Portugal and a bunch of other nations actually use G36s to great effect. So Baltimore PD, a bunch
Oh
of like
God, yeah,
yeah,
Baltimore PD.
bunch of
That's
Virginia, a bunch
that's
of
a
I think
wild
Sterling
wild
and
card.
a bunch of different nations actually actively use the G36. The Mexican army actually uses a clone of the G36,
Do they
which
really?
I am. Yep, they
I did
use.
not know that.
It's not HK approved, but originally they were purchasing G36s, and then something happened, and now they make a clone of it because they didn't want to keep buying it, or HK said no, probably because of the cartel thing.
And then I have another inquiry for you. Have you suppressed any of the G36s that you made? And if
You
so,
know,
how?
a lot of guys do. Like guys, I'm not a big suppressor guy.
Okay.
Personally, it's just they're cool. They just don't appeal to me. Um,
That's fair.
but and some guys have had problems or reported problems with overgassing a little bit, but they're
Okay.
kind of far and few in between. Honestly, they actually work really well from what I've seen. But personal, no, I haven't put a suppressor on my personal one.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, is the gas block is it positional or is it single position? Because I saw I didn't do as much research, but I did see some notes about optimized gas ports potentially.
Yeah, well, really, what guys are doing is messing with the rings.
Okay. Okay, that was okay. Interesting. Interesting. All right,
Okay.
so that makes sense. And then
They'll either
so in
remove a
terms of
ring or kind of line them up so the gas blows by a little faster. Things like
right.
that.
Okay.
So they're just kind of messing with it to.
Okay, so it's
Okay.
experimentation. So that's
Yes.
more the vein that we're comfortable with. It's
Mhm.
we like tinkering. We're tinkerers. That's what we like. So that's right up to where we're at. So in terms of the or the metal components, you're the molder. You're the FFL, the receiver guy. However, you do have complete rifles and UMPs for sale, correct? So you're working with a metal component manufacturer, HK Parts and GSG9. If
Yeah,
I'm
GSG9. Yeah, it's really
GSG9, I apologize.
yeah,
So
we partner with HK Parts and they sell the kits. I sell the receivers. So obviously, we're good friends and we work together and have a shared interest, obviously.
Right.
GSG9 makes a lot of those parts. They do the steel for us.
okay,
Okay.
now, do you guys assemble in house? So you guys are final QC with the rifles, obviously.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in terms of what kind of I guess test or break-in protocol or testing protocol did you have or do these rifles potentially have? Just because I know they're not necessarily being produced at the scale of HK Germany.
Right, right. Well, what we'll do is, if someone buys a complete. What I'll do is, we'll build it. And actually, it's either built by myself or a friend of mine who's actually to kind of veer off. My family's been injection molding for 52 years. The guy who helps me build
Yeah.
the rifles, he started working for my grandfather when he was 18 years old, and he's still here. So I've
Well,
known the guy since I was 9 years old and work with him. He helps build the rifles as well.
that is a cool. So I did see
I like that.
the blurb on family. Also, I loved the just really quickly as a complete. It's sort of tangential, but if you please go to S5 Tactical and read about their about because they have the most based 2A explanation. It's not about hunting. And I just wanted to compliment you on that. I very much really liked that.
Yeah, I
So
like that one, obviously,
yes.
but yeah, that's a good one.
Oh, I'm sorry. That
Uh,
was completely tangential, but I needed to give you credit for that. And now
Yeah,
I've lost
and
the
while
plot
you're there,
train.
buy a gun, buy a T-shirt,
Well,
whatever.
I mean,
yeah. Yeah.
I
Support
mean, I
support the company.
suppose.
Yeah.
So, so you and somebody else are assembling these rifles, which I
Correct.
mean is incredible in terms of uh, quality control. I definitely assume. Now,
Yeah,
in terms of
we build them ourselves, and then we'll basically I build them to order. Sometimes I'll have a couple ready. Just I
that was my
decided
next
to
question.
build a couple, but usually I have the kits, and because honestly, they're a lot easier to store in parts. Keep
Yeah, that
ATF
Right.
happy. Um,
Yeah.
I really like not pissing off those guys. Um, yeah, sits in the safe a little easier.
Yeah.
But I'll usually have a couple built, or I'll build them to order and run down the range, fire off 5 rounds out of each one, make sure everything runs okay, ship it out the next morning.
Okay, excellent.
Awesome.
Now, in terms of observed maintenance schedules and observed parts replacements, what kind of round counts are you expecting in terms, or have we not gotten this far in the company's existence? I realize it's been all of 6 months.
Yeah, we haven't really gotten that far, to be
Okay,
honest with you. But
fair point.
anything, you keep it clean, you keep it oiled, it's gonna last you a long time.
Right. Right. I mean,
Okay.
that's I guess what I was sort of alluding to when I was talking about nations earlier. There's the Kurdistani army uses G36Es to great effect in deserts. So
Yeah.
if anybody can beat the hell out of a gun, those are the same guys running G3s that are effectively in the white. So uh they're pretty good. I
Jesus.
mean, gas piston operated AR-180 clones, or have you been able to gather any data up until that? I mean, obviously we've talked about that you haven't really gotten necessarily high round counts, but do you have projected parts breakages or parts maintenance schedules or anything like that? Or right now, are you just copying HKTDP?
No, right now I'm just copying HK.
Okay. Now, in terms of the nylon, is it? I imagine it's a very similar process in terms of receiver to receiver, or like from an HKG36. Have you like in terms of the structure of the receivers? Are they similar? Is it basically the same thing? 'Cause I don't know very much about injection molding.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
tell us.
injection molding. What we do is we use an injection molding machine, very specific tooling. Um, and what that machine does is you have a mold, of course, it's got the cavity within that mold, that will make any shape you could possibly dream of. One half of that mold is melting down that plastic, plasticizing it, and pushing that into that machine. The other half of that machine is keeping that mold shut. As you can imagine, plastic, especially nylon, just thick, nasty, gooey, you know, not very viscous stuff. So you got to have a bunch of clamp force. So the machine we actually make the receivers on has 400 tons of clamp force just holding that sucker shut. We use
Wow.
electric machinery, modern machinery to lock it out. It runs actually kind of like your RC car. It's all servo driven. The older style are hydraulic driven, but it'll go and it'll clamp and lock that shut with 400 tons of force. Keep that blown open. You guys near you want to got like cheap Chinese forks, get that little bit of plastic, the little sharp edge. That happens for one of two reasons. One, you don't have enough clamp, and it's blowing that mold
Flashing.
open,
Is
or
that
the tool's
flashing?
wearing out and the edges are broken down. Everyone remembers from school, you get one thumb won't break down a door, but 100 thumbs
Yeah.
will. It's the
Yeah.
same principle. You got all that surface area, all that plastic pushing on there. You got to hold that sucker shut. So to answer your question, it's two different molds, obviously two different cavities, same machinery, same equipment. The SMP we call the UMP and the SG36 or G36 are made in the same mold. They use the same nylon, the same material for both. It's glass filled nylon. So the process is very, very similar.
That's
Okay.
interesting. Okay,
You
so
got small changes, in injection velocities and things like that, because you have different geometry, different part weights. So you got to do things a little bit different, but the general idea is it's very much the same.
so just forgive my ignorance, just as a quick aside.
You're
How
forgiven.
do you how do you keep a consistent temperature while you're injection mold? Obviously, this needs to happen quickly, or it would cool down too quickly. But I mean, I
Um,
imagine it needs to be hot consistently throughout, right?
The
So
yeah,
viscosity.
well, we
you
can control the
preheating.
temperature of the plastic in the barrel, in the
Okay.
machine. It goes through a screw and barrel to build pressure and to plasticize before it goes in the mold. So we can control the temperature in there. The actual mold temperature is less critical. They're actually water cooled, because you get that hot plastic in there. You want to get that plastic hard and out of there, as fast as you can. At the end of the day, injection molders really sell on time, so you want to get that out of there. Um, although most things in plastic takes a few seconds, minute maybe to mold. These things take like 3. They take forever.
Okay.
but
Well, I
but
imagine they're pretty complex structures. Are they machined at all, or are they just molded?
they're just molded.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay, so you plop the trunnion and any of the reinforced pieces, and then you mold around those.
Yeah, correct. That trunnion goes into there's a spot on the mold that holds it, and all those little inserts and everything. You put those all in the mold. Mold closes on that, shoves that plastic in, fills that cavity, and boom, out comes a receiver.
So
And
now,
then,
are your markings part of the receiver? Or are those stamped in later?
no, they're molded in.
They're molded in. Okay,
Wow.
all right.
Yeah. So on the G36, I don't know if probably should have brought one with me. Oh, you know what? I have one.
This is exciting.
So on the G36, the plate, you can see it. Can you see it?
I can see the reinforcement.
Yeah, there.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yep.
So it's in there in the tool. The plastic will actually, you'll see 2 nubs on there. Plastic actually fills that to hold that on there, and then there's teeth behind that to hold into the plastic as well.
So there's a
that's-
mechanical force. It's not just in case. There's actual like a locking sort of
Yeah, it's kind of locked in there. Yes.
effect.
Okay.
So the
That's
plastic go in there, fill. There's little holes in there that goes through. So to get that out,
Yeah.
you're
Okay.
probably going to damage it trying to get it out.
Interesting. Now
Yeah,
the
so
only
that's molded in,
okay.
Interesting.
So
along with the
really
trunnions and
quickly,
all the little inserts and everything else.
for people at home, you sell. I know we briefly touched on this, but we're talking about some of the more technical aspects in terms of torque and some of the other aspects. But you sell just the strip serialized receivers as well.
I sell more than that than anything.
Yeah. So if you're not, for whatever reason, wanting some very competent gentleman to build you a rifle, you can build one yourself. Now, the only time I would see that to be a benefit is if you wanted a pattern that you don't currently sell, which is the C model and the E model.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay. So let's touch on that. So what are plans moving forward? You have your UMP 45 carbine. Do you have any pistols, or is it just carbine?
No, no pistols yet. No short barrels.
Okay. Any plans for like a pistol UMP?
Possibly.
Okay.
It
I know
kinda-
they have
a
the
lot
plug
of
and
it
play
kinda
braces.
depends because HK parts sell those. We of course work with them. We don't want to step on their toes.
Right.
They sell a lot of those.
Mhm.
The rifles not so much. And then so parts availability is a factor. What I can get my hands on. What GSG9 has available. So there's
Right.
kind of a lot of things coming from different directions. We got to account for and be aware of. Kind of
Yeah.
keep everything harmonious. But
Well,
we
I
haven't
think it's
moved it out. I'd love to sell them, but we have not
Yeah.
yet.
Okay. Well, I mean, either way, you have the receivers. So if there's a will, there's a way. So
Right.
it's exciting. So in terms of kits moving forward, since you do obviously have the receivers and the parts kits for the receivers, but are you planning on production G36Cs or any of the G36Es?
No, I think we're going to stick with the Ks. That's kind of the sweet spot, in my opinion, actually, anyway. HK Parts has got the Cs. They own the tooling for the Cs.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Oh,
Yeah,
interesting.
I believe they do. And I know, and then, the receivers, other guys, they're collecting parts here and there. They'll have HK Parts, things. So a lot of guys, are tinkerers. They want to build their
Yep.
own rifle.
That's
Right.
what really tickled my fancy is Kevin and I we're massive AR fans, but we're set. I mean, I am impatient and I'm always building things. I have 3 rifles I built out of parts somewhere, but so like every tinkering. And then when I found the HK or the sub forum for the S5 tactical and the receivers and the def guns, it was just HK guys putting some guns together. They're like this part, and then you get them together, and then you get some very angry gentleman about markings for whatever reason, which is interesting because
They're a passionate bunch. I love them, but they are a
oh
passionate
my
bunch.
God,
Yeah,
are they?
I haven't-
I'm going through this, and there's some guy talking about the markings on your receiver, which by the way I think look better than the other ones that I've seen.
I mean, they're molded in there, so of course
They're-
they look better.
but they're not even deep. Like they're really superficial, and like if you look at any pictures that aren't directly on, you can barely see them. So I don't know.
they're not intrusive at all.
No.
I mean, like, it's
Yeah.
got sunshine, but I got like,
No,
but they're not deep. Guys have asked me, hey, can I, burn these out? Can I fill them? Tried whatever you want. You damage the receiver, I'm not taking it back.
yeah, I'm not
Yeah,
undoing this.
and that's a good policy.
Is that the
Once you
serial?
modify it, I'm not touching it.
Exactly right.
Right on.
And that's the serialized component.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that's where it is on the real one. I just want to make sure. So the real one. Oh, excuse me, that's rude.
So how hard would it be to mold like different polymer based guns? Say an
XM8.
Yeah. A few people have asked me about an XM8. Kind of looked at it. Basically, the tooling and everything would probably come out to about $750,000. So I'd have to make sure I sold $750,000 worth of receivers.
So you're saying there's a way.
There's a way. There's
That's
a
all I
pathway
heard.
forward. It's possible. It's
That
not
is
the
what-
most
that is the-
likeliest one. For every 10 people that say they want one actually buys it probably.
I agree with that.
Yeah, that's
I think
fair.
that's true with most things.
the XM8, that's a love it or hate it.
Mhm.
It's people
Oh.
that love it, they love it. It's space age Star Wars looking gun. It's cool.
Yeah.
A lot of people like, if I wanted a squirt gun, I'd buy one.
Yeah, it's the other fish gun. It's not quite FS 2000 levels, but I get it. But I mean, in
so
terms of
it's kind of a love or hate with guys with that one, but it would be expensive to tool out, so there's got to be a decent market for
A
it.
demand.
right. Okay.
Plus,
So
everybody
people-
wants to pay $2,500 for a receiver, and you can.
I mean, so what you're saying and what I'm hearing is the people listening to this now should
It's their
express
job
interest
to make this happen. That's
Yes.
what you're saying.
So express interest in the XM8 because it's a great rifle.
Yeah, tell you what, you guys can get $1 million in pre-orders. I'll build them.
Challenge accepted.
That's the name of the episode. S5 challenge accepted.
It was such a great rifle. It was killed before its time. Before it even
Well,
had a
I mean,
chance to shine.
It wasn't even it was based on a rubber gun on the bottom of some not even functioning MGL, which is fun by
Still.
itself. I think that'd be fun. Just to have an XM8 pistol, like the little PDW version. That'd be really cute. That'd be really fun. So you already answered this question, I suppose, but your favorite variant would be the K, which also my favorite.
My personal favorite is the K rifle.
Okay.
Wow.
That's
Nice.
And
I know-
Yeah, for me, I like that. I like having the stock on. I like the longer barrel.
Yep.
I'm
Yep.
not clearing out a room. For me, it's funner to shoot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
totally.
And, if you got the short barrel or a rifle, if someone's coming down your hallway, you point either one out of them, it's going to work.
Yep.
Also fair.
You know?
Also fair. Yeah, I actually I'm partial to the K mostly because I think this is a really stupid opinion, but just visually it's the most even in terms of the handguard, the stock, and the receiver in rule of 3. So everything's very symmetrical.
Oh,
Yeah, it is much more
Price's rolled
symmetrical. Yeah,
threes.
the C looks a little stubby to me.
Thank you. Thank you for agreeing with that's what I said. And Kevin like
But being
"Yeah."
that, yeah, I guarantee you there's a lot more C's out there than K's. But for me, I
Yeah,
like the K's.
I think it's because mostly the C's are in video games, which that's not a hate. I love a C. Don't get me wrong, but an 8-inch 5.56 is kind of a hard sell to a lot of people, especially when you want to use the rifle. There's other
Says-
propositions potentially
Says
for
the
the
man
caliber.
that has a 7.5-inch AR-15.
Yes, I do. But
Yeah.
so
You know what? That you make a good point though, because I get a lot of guys say who want a G36 and they just say, hey, thank you for making this. This is my dream gun. I've wanted one ever since I was a kid playing Call of Duty. I get that exact statement over and over and over.
I love
Yep.
that. Well, so I know my statement was Mission Impossible, but same sentiment.
No, I
Yeah,
honestly,
yeah.
I remember playing Call of Duty and grinding out to get the G36. Like, that was the goal. Like, grind until you get the G36. And that was once I got it, I never stopped using it.
So in
Oh.
Rainbow Six or in Vegas, you grind for the FN Scar and the G36. Those are the only two I cared about. Those are the best. And then, well, no, that's not true. The MG36 and because the G36C, I think you get super early on, but that's not what we're talking about. Sorry. But yes, so yes, G36s generally, we like those.
Yep.
So
They're
in
awesome.
terms of support, let's talk about actually using the gun.
Okay.
What kind of support are you looking at aftermarket support in terms of other companies? Have you worked with anybody for furniture and magazines or anything like that? Or is
I
anything in the
haven't
works?
yet, like we've said, we're 6 months in. Kind of got a good thing going, but but we have looked at things, colors, for example.
Rel, maybe?
So keep an eye out in the future for possibilities of that. My daughter of all people has been asking me for 6 months, I guess now, to make a pink one for October.
Oh, I would buy that. I would
Yeah.
buy the pink gun
Yeah,
for me.
right, I need a
or a
pink one.
hot
She's like,
pink
do
one.
it for October. Do it for breast cancers. It's like,
Yeah.
how, that's a great
Breast,
idea.
breast
That'd be a
cancer
good raffle
awareness.
thing.
Yeah.
You could do a
That
breast
would be
cancer
a good
awareness
raffle.
month
Yeah,
thing.
that would
That'd
be
be
really
fun.
cool.
Yeah,
That'd be cool.
It'd just be fun.
I love that.
It'd work
That's
with
so
anything
cool.
else, but
Well, yeah, I mean, it could because it's just the color additive, or is it just a color additive
Yeah.
in the polymer?
yeah, that's all.
Diabolical.
Wow.
Oh,
Dude, you're unlocking an entire just,
interesting. My world just blew up.
oh my God.
Start
Tiger
Let's start-
stripe?
Yeah,
Tiger
I'm-
stripe.
Well, no, it has to be solid color.
Yeah, it's got to be a solid color.
I'll drab. I'll sell.
You should do the gray, the urban gray that HK does, because for whatever reason they'll only import the SL8 in urban gray, which is like every HK's nerd's bane, and just have
Yeah.
an urban gray HK G36. I think that'd be hilarious. Because actually, I think do they have 243s in gray? They have them in REL 8000.
I don't know.
Either way, yeah, that'd be cool. I think that'd be like kind of a stick it to anybody that doesn't like that. I think that'd be fun. But
Yeah. But yeah, there's fun things you could do. We've thought about doing things like that in different colors.
that's really cool. So in terms of now, obviously you're the receiver component too. Have you put any thought into like accessories, like producing your own or working with anybody else? I mean, obviously, yes, early in the industry, but
Yeah, like I said, one thing I've thought about just in the market is because it drives me nuts personally is magazines. You got
oh my
Yeah.
god, yeah,
which they're decent, whatever. And you got the HK mags if you want, drop, your week's
Money.
pay on a magazine.
Yep.
But I feel like there's a happy middle in there that would be really awesome that could be developed. So it's I've had that in my mind. It's give guys a third option. A lot of guys use the AR mags and the adapters. I'm not a fan of those personally. They
Yeah,
just
if you're gonna use a G36, use the magazine.
they
Yeah.
just seem a little awkward.
Put some
don't look
respect
right.
on it.
And I know
Yeah.
some people have problems with them. Some people they work perfectly fine. But every time, adapter means trouble in anything.
Right.
So I've thought about that. And you got different options there too. Magpies, they're black.
Yeah, I mean
magazines,
they
you could
have
do,
the
translucents like HK does, things like that,
Yeah.
or
right.
there's a lot of things you could do.
Now, in terms of pistol braces, is that sort of too dicey in terms of something to look forward to potentially? Like, because you already have the P, and there is a market for. Because currently
Yeah,
there are
there's definitely a
no.
market for it. I've thought about
G36s.
arm braces too, especially
Yeah.
with those pistol versions.
Yep.
I know right now they're legal. Seems like last week they weren't, and
Yeah.
God knows if they will be next week. They kind of go back
Also
and
true.
forth. So again, kind of going back to the XM8, talking about there's investment in tooling. Arm brace would be way less than an XM8 because basically it's the attachment and the brace. It's not a receiver and the furniture and grip assembly and Yeah, yeah, that actually made that it
And
would be multiple tools. Again, car brace, you could probably do it in two. Um, so yeah, if that worked out, and I thought I could sell enough of them, why they're illegal or whatever they're going to
Yeah.
be, then yeah,
Hmm.
it's definitely worth
Hmm.
considering.
I
interesting.
almost
I like
wonder
that.
if a convertible design is a better, because I know obviously I have no manufacturing, but I'm just going to spitball. I know they have braces that have the convertible backs for the tail hooks, like the tail hook adapters.
Uh,
And my thought for manufacturing is if it were ever to be like you couldn't make pistol braces again, you could just convert production into stocks because it's literally just it's a socket that you just put the tail hook adapter into. And that's, I know, a very common pistol brace option. So it wouldn't necessarily lock you into a brace, but it would lock you into, or it would at least give you an option for attachments. So you could scale it appropriately.
yeah, kind of. Um,
I don't know.
the attachment you'd have to change it from a pistol brace to a stock. You'd have to redo that entire tool of everything except for that piece. So you really would be making a new tool for a stock. And
Okay.
there's a million folding stocks now. So
Yeah, fair.
who
They
needs
just don't have
another?
any
You'd have to do something worthwhile, to sell enough of them.
Yeah. Well, it would,
Right.
I think there's only one adapter right now, and I think it's just for AR buffer tubes. I don't think there's actually any pistol brace option.
Yeah, I know. I think there's a couple of them around. I know HK Parts has got one where you can put a pickaninny on the back and then use the
Yeah,
tail
that's
hook.
what it was. That's what it was. You're right.
Okay.
So yeah, I was telling Kevin, or Kevin and I we recorded last night, and
Yep.
I'm currently scouring the market for airsoft compatible components because I want to see if I can find
Brace has a
some
habit
level.
of putting airsoft parts on real guns to see if they work.
They sometimes do, and if you don't have to, source actual HK key parts, that would be cool. So there's a couple things that do work.
He wants an ACR stock. That's
So
what he wants.
I do want
It's
it.
not crazy if it works.
See?
Oh,
I
man.
agree.
Now,
So
the
I
million dollar
found
question is, has it worked yet? But it's not crazy if it works.
Yeah,
it
Bryce,
hasn't
it
not
worked?
worked yet.
Oh, it hasn't.
But the
not
operative
worked.
word is yet.
So I found a Chinese company that makes a Gel Blaster ACR G36 adapter, and I'm buying it because I'm gonna try it eventually. So I figure it can't. Worst case scenario, it doesn't work, and then I just put it on my toy G36.
There you go.
So-
You know what guys are doing is 3D printing them.
So I saw we have a buddy that actually Hammy I think I told you or we were talking about him at one
Hammy
point.
3D prints.
Hammy
Yeah.
at 3D prints or Hammy 3D prints. So he does a lot of the 3D printing components and really good quality prints. So he does. Ironically, he has one of the heartbeat sensors from Call of Duty as well, and so it's kind of fun. But maybe I should just bother him to do that. Just be like, hey, print me a ACR dock or stock adapter.
He probably would too.
Just
Well,
harass
once you
him.
got the program, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah,
Just
I
takes
think that's what
time
I'll
and
do.
fulfillment.
I think that's the plan here. But yeah, so I mean, in terms of things to look forward to, what do we have coming up next? Or we just pounding the grindstone and selling G36s?
Yeah, right now we're selling G36s at SMPs. You really just got going a month or two ago.
Okay.
Think I've sold 50 or 60 so far of those. Those really are just getting going. So I'm grind those two out, kind of grow their brand, and then kind of see what's next. I have 30 products out I can't sell. And get these two sold, and
Right.
then you have a market. And yeah,
Well, so the last thing I wanted to, I think we had talked about this last time we talked, but in terms of manufacturing in the firearms industry, this isn't the first necessary foray into firearms. So this is an established thing that, I mean, injection molding, obviously, but you're in other facets of the firearms industry as well, right?
yeah, I mold magazines for X-Tech Tactical.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
for
in
running it down.
general, so in terms of magazines, there's a precedent to be set for you in magazines. is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Nice.
Yeah.
So maybe we should be looking forward to maybe some X-Tech G36 magazine.
I've been trying to convince them.
That would be so cool.
That would be really cool.
That's X-Tech.
Yeah, they're
I
good
like-
guys over there. But yeah,
I
Because
love the
it's kinda like,
cage.
I don't know really if I want to build another tool, but I mean, all their stuff is, the internals is all 226. So like, like 2/3 done. Like, come on.
Yeah.
You're
And
mostly
it'd be so cool.
there.
Yeah, it'd just be great to have another option.
I love that. That's awesome. Well, then we're definitely going to be watching out for you in terms of things to watch out for. I mean, we'll be looking for more HK components from you and maybe some more exciting releases and maybe some magazines from X-Tech. So look forward to that. And then in terms of just personal stuff, we shall move on to the second part of the show where it doesn't sound like I'm a complete idiot and I've done this before. So this is the second part of the show where Kevin and I talk about new stuff that we have going on to include our guest. Hello. This is the second part of the show, guest. I'm locked into a fucking...
Yes, we're
can't
at the
talk.
second part now.
Jesus Christ, I'm cutting all that out. Oh my God. For everybody that's curious, I'm roasting alive. It is Florida and I think it's 90 out right now. So, and my AC is too loud. So I had to turn that off.
You look like you're sweating just a tad bit.
I'm dying.
Yeah, I don't know about Florida, man. I just got back from Oklahoma and, it was like 90 degrees something, 95, something like that. And like, 86% humidity, and I was dying. I got off that plane back in Arizona. It was 105 and I was never happier.
Yeah, I think we got up to where I'm at in North Florida, like 115 today, with the
I believe it.
humidity at like 86.
Yeah.
So you're just like,
Yeah, I got off the plane. It was 105 and like 6% humidity. It's like I didn't have to chew the air or nothing. It was great.
yeah, Jesus.
I think, Bo,
Lucky you.
I may have told you, but when I first moved to Tampa or to Florida from Maryland, I got off the plane and it felt like I was taken back, like coming out of the airport. It was like, because the air is so thick. Now, granted, it was midsummer in a hellacious mid-hurricane season summer, but I mean, oh my God, when you talk about chewing air, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's just thick. Yeah, you're like, you can feel it in your throat, and you're just like, what the hell?
That's exactly.
Yep.
That's it. You feel, and it was funny. I took my wife, so she's born and raised in Florida, and I took her to my family property in Washington State, which is not humid at all. And she walks from the airport with her beautiful, adorable self, and then walks outside, and her hair grows immediately 3 times its normal volume, and she immediately goes, "My lips are cracking," and I'm like, "Sweetie, you are a salamander, or you've been like just hard baked in this wet environment. This is what happens when you dry out." It was hilarious.
Jesus.
But shit, I don't remember. What do we have going on, Kevin? Do you have anything new? Exciting?
No, nothing really new and or exciting. at
No
this
video
time.
games that we're playing. This is literally the time you have to plug yourself.
What games are I
Do your job. Plug your other channel, you goob. You big old goober. The carry handle gaming.
The Carry Handle Gaming plays games. I don't
Yep.
know what the next game's
Damn
gonna
it. You're terrible at plugging yourself. Wait, didn't we
Sorry.
say we were
Don't
doing
take that out of context.
be. Jeez.
or
I
do?
try hard. I tried
Actually, I
hard
think-
not to.
I think you
give him-
should. Ooh, I can. I'm the editor. Ooh, this is gonna be really fun video clips coming
Thanks.
up.
Thanks,
Very
pal.
excited. Thank you. That was good. Well, Bo, I mean, other than G36s and UMPs, anything exciting personally that you care to share on a podcast you've never been on? Other
Nick
than your
Grandpa, That's
vacation.
the most exciting thing in my life right now. But other than that, we're just cranking it out.
Did you say you're a grandpa?
I am.
Congratulations.
Hooray.
That's so
Thank you.
exciting. That's awesome. Well, that's
Yeah,
definitely more exciting than
I
my
had a
news.
grandson in January. Started making rifles in February because I needed something else to do. Right.
Well, yeah, for sure. It's
It's
You might as well
typical,
just another stone in the old crown there. I like that. That's good. Well, the only thing I had new is I wrote an article about you. And that's pretty much it. And then I know Kevin and I have another thing we're doing that I forgot. We have a part 2 for something. Did I release that? We have another thing coming out. I don't remember what it is.
We have something coming out.
We have something coming out.
My
I'm
mind
sure
is gone blank.
okay. Kevin's supposed to remember these things, but apparently we're not very good at that.
You're supposed to remember them for me.
What? No, that has never occurred. Not once. Oh,
We'll wait
shit.
patiently and I'll be surprised.
Perfect.
I love that. All right. Well, I mean, the only thing I have new coming on is, or not coming on, but I was recently given a beautiful gift from my father, the Bushnell 15 to 45 spotting mill-based spotting scope. So I will be playing with that coming up, and I will be doing some more, as Kevin I'm sure is excited to hear, more tripod content. More tripod content for Kevin, so I know he'll love that.
Yay!
And then we'll probably do our Red Dot EOTech argument proper instead of our weird half conversation from our last recording. But other than that, do we have anything else?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Well, Bo, thank you so much for coming on, and we're so incredibly excited for what you guys have coming up.
To talk to you and learn about everything.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to talk to you guys. Thank you so much for having me. This is great.
Yeah, absolutely. And the next
This is
time,
my first podcast ever. You guys are the one.
Wow, we're the first ones. Yay.
That's awesome. Well, anytime you want to come back on, let me know.
All right, see you tomorrow.
Have you. So, all right. Well, thank you so much for tuning in, guys, and we hope to see you next time. And yeah, have a good one.
So if anything comes new, I'll call you guys first.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Thank you. All right. Well, let me roll the outro.
Roll the outro. Roll the outro. Roll the.
Hey, you made it to the end of the video. Very cool. You should like and subscribe.
On Facebook and Instagram.
And Twitter and Spotify. You should listen there too. If you
aren't they
heard
listening
this on
to this on Spotify right now?
Well, they could be, but there's also YouTube podcasts. So, all of the places.
We always forget where we post this stuff.
We don't know where this is. Thank you for listening wherever you're listening to, but you should also like the other places that we are. And
Who are we and what the hell are we doing here?
Yeah, I don't know how we got here. So thank you for letting us talk directly into your ear holes.
Right to the brain.
Thanks for listening. Bye.
Adios.